Will Colemeyer, Adam Gore, welcome you back to our final segment of the Davis Ford pregame show. I gave you your starting lineups for Coahoma, brought to you by Coke. As we get ready for the top of the first, quickly let's run through the ICC starting lineup, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Leading off and playing left field will be Drew Wheeler. Batting second, the third baseman, Ethan Gill. Batting third, the first baseman, Andy Bowman. Batting cleanup, the DH, Hayden Williams. Batting fifth, the catcher, Cameron Coker. Batting sixth is the shortstop, Luke Gibbs. Batting seventh, the center fielder, Gable Butler. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Bryce Williams. And batting ninth, the right fielder, Chris Kennard. And Kennard gets the start. Connard. What am I? I'm thinking of Con Air.
Well, yeah.
The movie.
He's like for me. My family comes from Yellowbush County. He's from Water Valley. So we have our own special way of saying things. And it's Chris Connard.
Yes. Chris Connard.
Yes.
And on the hill will be Destin Hill. That's your Coca-Cola starting lineup for Game 2. And the First American National Bank opening pitch is a bunt foul down the third base line by Luis Colon. Always a scramble trying to get the lineup cards and getting the lineups here on an abbreviated Davis Ford pregame show. Colon in Game 1. 0 for 4. Had 3 ground outs to the third baseman, Ethan Gill. And also line one back to Brooks, the pitcher. Mario Brown on deck. This one's popped up. And it's 0-2 the count. We're in the top of the first after ICC won Game 1, 10-4. We got to get to our Rick's Picks to Click, brought to you by Rick's Barbecue in Fulton. We'll get to that right after this pitch to the right-handed hitting Luis Colon. Fastball upstairs. All right, Adam Gore, you had Mr. Bowman in Game 1 as your Rick's Pick to Click. Who do you got in Game 2?
Well, Will, we've done broadcasts now for 4 years, and you probably already know this. It's going to be Andy Bowman in Game 2.
And there's a soft liner to center field, a base hit by Luis Colon, and he's on base for the first time.
Now batting number 14, Marcus Brown.
And here is Brown, Mario Brown, the second baseman, with nobody out here in the top of the first. I am going to go, I had Hayden Williams in Game 1. I'll give that some thought. Butler had a great Game 1. It's just so hard to go against. Ethan Gill had a grand slam in Game 1, went 2 for 3, 5 runs batted, and he's been on fire as of late. So I'm going to go with Ethan Gill.
I was going to say, Will, you better, because you're within arm's reach of his girlfriend.
My goodness. Well, then I don't want to get Ethan staring at me in the cafeteria tomorrow, so that one's fouled out of play. Nice call on you, Gore. And that just embarrassed Logan to...
I know, and I'll probably be the one getting slapped now.
Yes, it'll be Gil talking to you tomorrow in the cafeteria.
Oh, that's not good, because he's a little bit bigger than me and probably faster than me,
a little bit of a mismatch there.
I won't be eating lunch in the cafeteria anymore.
Here's Brown, who hits from the left side. There goes Colon. He's going to try to steal. The throw from Coker is not in time. And so a stolen base by Luis Colon for Coahoma. And they've got a runner in scoring position with nobody out here in the top of the first.
Yeah, good quick tag by Gibbs. I thought really and truly he might have a shot at getting him on the feet before he tagged the base. And it was a little bit closer. A little bit stronger throw, I guess you can say, or if he would have came out a little bit cleaner out of his stance, he might have got him.
So Hahn will look in, check the runner at second. Curveball hit down the right field line, and it is hooking foul, fortunately. That had extra bases written all over that one.
Yeah, he was just a little bit ahead of it that time, and you sort of saw the way he swung. He was trying to guide it back fair because he knew he had got ahead of that one a little bit. So lucky break there for the Indians because that had 1 run written on the board.
So 0-2 the count to Mario Brown. The crowd continues to grow. People getting off of work now. Coming over to Roy Crescent Field for Game 2 of this doubleheader. This one's fouled straight back, and we'll do it again at 0-2. We're in the top of the first. No score between ICC and Coahoma.
Yeah, I also seen a lot of the women's basketball players came out to the ballpark today, along with some of the state champion men, members of the Indians team coming out to support the Indians in Game 1.
It's always nice to see all the other student athletes at ICC support the others. There's pitch, fastball low and outside, 1-2 the count. That state championship by the men last month. Grant Payton Company extending our streak of at least one state championship in the last 10 years. Longest current streak in the state. There's a slow roller to the right side. Bowman can't quite get the handle, but I'm not sure they would be able to get the Speedy Brown. How about an infield single?
Yeah, I wanted to give an infield hit on that one. As you said, Brown's got good speed that time. A little confusion on who was going to cover it, either second or first. And then by the time he saw that first baseman cover, the pitcher had to hustle to get over there. So, yeah, that was a hit all day right there. And Hahn a little shaky getting started here in the top of the first.
And here is Hudson Ross, the DH. He caught game one, went 1 for 4, had that 2-run single. There's a line drive into left center field. That's going to score a run, and it's going to put runners at first and third. They're not hitting it hard, but they're hitting it where we're not. Yes, and so Cologne will score from second. It's 1-0 Coahoma.
Putting it where they ain't, as they call it. We're going to have some action now going in the bullpen. Looks like this is going to be Russ Johnson heading down.
So with nobody out, here is the cleanup hitter, Matt Rappa, who had the hat trick in game one. He struck out all 3 times against Nick Brooks, the starting pitcher. That's impressive when you can do that to the opponent's cleanup hitter. Fastball upstairs by Hahn, the freshman out of Amory. Hahn's high school alma mater had a tough night last night. You might have heard some of the folks here on FM 95 Sports listen to that Amory game. Of course, speaking of Amory, there's a fastball low. We will not have this week in the ICC lineup Tanner Poole, bothered by an arm injury, isn't it?
Stress fracture.
Stress fracture. So that's not good for our center fielder. That's why Gable Butler is in center for both games here today. Fastball is high and inside. 3-0 the counts. Nobody out here in the top of the first. And as Adam mentioned just moments ago, Russ Johnson, who started game one in the field out in right, is warming up in the ICC bullpen. There's a strike called. And here comes Justin Bryant to talk to Destin Hahn. We'll take a 30-second timeout. It's 1-0 Coahoma, top of the first.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First National Bank in Pontotoc, with locations on South Main Street in Pontotoc and on Highway 15 in North Pontotoc. First National Bank, you're important to us, and we prove it.
And by JUCO Weekly. Log on to JUCOweekly.org to view scores, stats, news, photos, and videos from around the MACJC. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at www.JUCOweekly.org.
Alongside Adam Gore, I'm Will Kohlmeyer. Tina Harlow, our studio engineer, here this afternoon, now into the evening, early evening, I should say. 1-0, top of the first. Coahoma leads. Justin Bryant, the ICC pitching coach, back into the Indians' dugout. Let's see what Destin Hahn can do with a 3-0 count. Runner was going at first, and a fly ball right field. Right center field. Coming on, making the catch is the center fielder. Butler, his throw to the plate is in time. No! They said he was safe. And Cameron Coker.
There's no way. There's no way possible.
The catcher was just stunned by the safe call, so it's going to be a sacrifice fly to center by Rappa. That sacrifice fly brought to you by the Baptist Student Union.
Well, and not to take anything away from the home plate umpire, because I'm pretty sure mathematics wasn't one of the qualifications to become an umpire, but the sheer mathematics of it in itself and angles, he slid high. His arms were up. His body was tall. For him to get underneath the tag on a tag that was midway through his body, he had to slide flat. So, if you look at the law of angle and contact, there's no way. It's just physically and mathematically and everything impossible on that play.
Oglesby watches the first pitch, a ball low. That sacrifice fly by Rappa, as I mentioned, brought to you by the Baptist Student Union. Scores Mario Brown from third. The runner at first stayed at first. There's a swing and a miss to Oglesby. 0-2 the count. Beg your pardon, 1-1 the count. 1-1 the count to Oglesby. Jonathan was a tough out for us in game one. He went 3 for 3. He had 3 of the 6 hits for Coahoma. There's a strike call. Now it's 1-2. Oglesby had a home run in the second that put the Tigers up 1-0, then doubled to lead off the fourth that came around to score, and then got a base hit in the sixth. He had 3 of the 6 hits against ICC pitching in game 1. There's a slow roller. It just foul behind home plate, and we'll do it again. Tay McGregory, the first baseman, is on deck. It's 2-0 Coahoma here in the top of the first against ICC right-hander Destin Hahn. We'll check the numbers on Hahn. His 4th appearance of the year. He got the loss in game 2 on Saturday. It's his only decision this year. There's a liner just past the diving Gibbs at short. And so a base hit by Oglesby. Even when we get him 2 strikes on the count, he still gets base hits. And they've got runners at first and second, still just 1 out. I'm sorry.
And like you said, they're not killing the ball. They're just putting it where we ain't right now. I mean, that was just a good hit through the gap that time. Gibbs made a great effort on trying to make a diving catch just outside the reach of his glove. So Coahoma being very aggressive, playing a lot of hit and run here early.
Here is the left-handed hitting first baseman, Tay McGregory. And there's a strike called. As I mentioned, Hahn making his 4th appearance. He's thrown a 1 2/3 innings, giving up 4 runs. They've all been earned on 3 hits. Has a 21.60 earned run average. There's a liner to left, and that earned run average, it continues to climb, although they're going to hold the runner at third.
Could have kept going. The umpire would have called him safe.
So the bases are juiced, and that might be all for Destin Hahn. Here comes Rick Collier, and I think we're going to have our first Predator Pest Control pitching change of the night. We'll take a 60-second timeout. Yes, here comes the new pitcher for the Indians. We're back in 60 seconds. Coahoma leads here in the top of the first, 2-0. Back here in Fulton. Time for our first, what, Adam?
Predator Pest Control pitching change.
No hesitation at all.
It only took me 3 years to learn how to say it. I'm just glad you didn't switch up sponsors on me.
I wouldn't do that to you, partner.
Thanks.
So here's Russ Johnson. As Destin Hahn's day is done, he goes the 3rd of an inning. Gives up 5 hits, 2 runs, and all 3 batters on the bases are his responsibility. And here's Corey O'Brien, the shortstop, to face right-hander Russ Johnson.
Yeah, tough spot to be in for Russ as he enters the game right now. 1 out, bases loaded, already down 2-0 here. Coahoma jumping out early and getting things going here in game 2.
O'Brien in game 1 was up 3 times, but he did not have an official at bat. He walked in the second, had a sacrifice bunt in the 4th, and then walked and scored in the 7th. There's a first pitch is a ball. Russ Johnson, the freshman out of Hatley, so one Monroe County native replaces another for the Indians. O'Brien hits from the right side. That ball got away from the catcher Coker, but he's quickly to hop on it. No advancement. Bases are loaded. 2-zip Coahoma in the top of the first.
Do double play in a big way right here, right now. We'll try to get out of this inning with minimum damage done. But Coahoma, though, give credit to them. I mean, they took it on the chin that first game. They're coming out fighting back, and this is what they needed here in game 2 to get a little bit of confidence brewing.
Fastball catching the outside corner. 2-1 the count. He bounces into the double play right here. We'll just go ahead and give that as our defensive play of the game, or maybe even the play of the game. It's that important right now, early for the Indians, trailing 2-0. That pitch is low and outside. 3-1 the count.
Yeah, we're struggling to find the zone right now, and if you're a pitcher, you just want to throw it up there and get it in the zone. Granted, they've put the bat on the ball pretty well here early. Already got 5 hits with just 1 out here, but you can't afford to try to get fancy here.
Fastball, strike called at the belt, catching the corner, and the count is full at 3-2. Hunter Nikes is on deck. That ball in the dirt, and so a bases loaded walk, and it's now 3-0 Coahoma.
Yeah, that's what we talked about with Rick in between games. You just got to try to piece together your pitching here in this game too. Get some good outings from a couple of guys. Unfortunately, just didn't get a good start from Destin Hahn to start the game, and now we got to rely on Russ to get us out of this.
Here's Nikes, the catcher. First pitch is a strike called. 0-1 the count with T.J. Knowles on deck. The Indians trail here in the top of the first, 3-0. That ball in the dirt on a curveball. Nice job by Coker to block it. 3 base hits to start the game, then a sac fly by Rappa scored the first run, then a base hit by Oglesby to load the bases again, then Montgomery got a bases loaded single, and then O'Brien with a bases loaded walk. It's now 1-2 the count to Hunter Nikes. He wears number 11 on the back of his Coahoma jersey. Did not play in game 1. He's out of Harrison Central High School. And that ball in the dirt. Coker can't find it, and by the time he does, that allows the run to score from third. So a wild pitch makes it 4-0, and the runners advance to second and third.
Yeah, nightmare start for the Indians right now. That one right there, just unfortunate break is Coker couldn't find it. The runner had committed to go once it was in the dirt, and it didn't get away from him. And I really thought if Coker could have located early, could have possibly tagged the guy out again at home plate.
So 4 runs in the inning on 5 hits. A wild pitch and a sac fly, and this one is foul. Count remains 1-2 with Knowles on deck. Coahoma has yet to win a North Division game this year. That loss in game 1 made them 0-7. ICC with that win in game 1, 3-4. There's a bouncer to short. Gibbs will throw to third. And now they get the runner in a pickle from second and third. And he left the base path, and so he's out. But we had a runner at second and third, so
there's no force.
So
to go home. So it was a good job by the kid on third to kind of jog down, stop, and make the force to try to get the out versus trying to throw it home. That way he could have easily trotted back.
So the run scores McGregory, so it's now 5-0. O'Brien is caught between second and third. And then Nikes reaches on the fielder's choice, and he takes second during that pickle. So there's 2 outs, and here's the 9th batter to face ICC pitching here in the top of the first, and that's T.J. Knowles, the left fielder. Swing and a miss on a fastball, 0-1 the count. Knowles in game 1 went 0 for 3 with a run scored. Reached on an error in the 7th. Pitch is low, 1-1 the count. As right now, no one warming up in the ICC bullpen. As we talked about, we're thin pitching with 4 starters missing that were supposed to be on the roster this spring. There's a pop-up on the right side of the infield, and Bowman will make the catch just inside fair territory near the bag, and that takes care of Coahoma in the first. But the Tigers get 5 runs on 5 hits. There were no errors, and 1 was left. We played a half inning, and Coahoma leads ICC 5-0. Alongside Adam Gore, I'm Will Kohlmeyer. We head to the bottom of the first. Coahoma leads it 5-0. That wasn't a whole lot of fun, was it, Adam?
No, nightmare start for the Indians, and you can make up for that here. Just get 5 or more in the bottom half of the inning, and let's start this thing over. Just if we can put 5 up here and basically make it a 0-0 game.
Rick Callier changes the lineup a bit in game 2, as Luke Gibbs has been the leadoff hitter for weeks. But now Luke experiencing a little bit of a slump at the plate, so they've dropped him down from 1 to 6 in the lineup, and then they moved up Wheeler and Gill and Bowman and Hayden Williams from 2, 3, 4, and 5 to 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that ICC starting lineup. That batting order brought to you by Coke. And we're ready for the bottom of the first. And here's Drew Wheeler. Wheeler in the game 1 reached base twice. Wheeler got a base hit and scored in the 3rd and was hit by a pitch in the 6th. He scored a run, so he was 1 for 3 officially. Had a stolen base as well in game 1. First pitch swinging, a roller to 3rd. Rappa bobbled it, but gets it back and fires a strike over to first for the first out, and that takes care of Drew Wheeler for the first out here in the bottom of the first.
Now coming to play for the Indians, number 15, Ethan Gill.
And here's Gill, who went 2 for 3 in game 1 with 5 runs batted in. Of course, the big blow, that grand slam in the 3rd. And that put ICC ahead to stay. First pitch is a strike call. Gill reached base 3 out of 4 times. Struck out in the 1st and hit that grand slam in the 3rd. Got an RBI single in the 4th and then walked in the 6th. That pitch just misses. 1-1 the count to Gill, the sophomore from Pontotoc High School. Curveball way high. 2-1 the count. For more information on ICC baseball and the 9 other intercollegiate athletic programs, follow ICC Athletics on Twitter at LetsGoICC. And there's a drive to deep left field, and forget it, folks. It is way on out of here, and Gill has hit his 2nd home run of the afternoon, and the Indians are on the board, trailing now 5-1.
Yeah, and that was a no-doubter that time. Gill got the curveball he was looking for, and he sent that one flying over the cedar trees out there and left. It was just a matter of fact of how long would it take for it to land.
And the Indians are on the board, dramatic style, with Gill, his 4th home run of the year, his 2nd of the afternoon. And he is now driven in 6 this afternoon, now into the evening.
Andy Bowman.
And here's Andy Bowman, who's been just as hot as Ethan Gill lately, maybe even a little hotter, which is hard to believe because Gill's on fire. First pitch is a strike call to Bowman, who hits from the left side. The first baseman in game 1 reached base 3 out of 4 times, just like Gill. He was 1 for 2 with a run scored. He was hit by a pitch and also walked. 5-1, the Indians trail. Gill's home run. Now it gives him 18 runs batted in. There's a sharp single down the right field line. Nice job by the right fielder Oglesby to get over there to keep Bowman at first for a single. And now we're getting a little something going, Adam.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We just got to string them together one at a time here. Of course, now if you get a guy like Gill out there that can hit one to the Tombigbee River, it'd be nice every time. But yeah, that's what you got to do. Just chip away. They put 5 runs up in the top half. We can put 5 in the bottom.
Here's Hayden Williams, who caught game 1. He went 1 for 4 with an RBI double. Check swing, ball in the dirt. There goes Bowman. And that wild pitch, puts Bowman in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, and a good job by Bowman. Didn't waste any time. Once he saw the balls in the dirt, he took off and got in scoring position.
So, wild pitch. It has Bowman at 2nd. Here's Hayden Williams. This one's bounced right off the top of his foot. And the count is even at 1-1.
Yeah, that don't feel good in any shape, form, or fashion.
And he'll try to take a little time, take a little sting out of that with Cameron Coker on deck. The runner at second is Bowman with one out here in the bottom of the first. Coahoma leads it 5-1. Hayden pops this one up. Out of play over the Coahoma dugout, which is on the first base side of things here at Roy Crescent Field. And the count is 1-2. Coker on deck, Gibbs in the hole. And then Butler, Bryce Williams. Let's get a little merry-go-round started here. Connard is after Williams in that lineup for ICC. There's a ground ball, sharp toward the ICC dugout.
That was T.J. Watson with a nice
what a stab by Watson. Helped out his teammates. That thing was...
I don't know if you've been around him very much, but that kid could be mad at the world and still have a smile on his face.
Really?
Yeah, always smiling.
That's a great trait that will take him a long way. People just congregate. They love to hang around positive people with a smile on the face. Wind blowing out a little bit to left. Pick off at second, and the ball gets away, but not far enough for Bowman to advance.
Yeah, unfortunately, the center fielder not asleep that time as he was charging in on the pickoff throw from the get-go, so that was able to keep Bowman on second.
That's Louise Colon out there in center. Talking with Matt Killebrew, one of their assistant coaches before the game. They've signed a lot of players in South Mississippi on this Coahoma squad. There's a curveball, fouled straight back. Count remains 1-2. Not a lot of high school baseball down there in the Delta. I mean, just not a lot to draw from.
Right. Most of them, football, basketball.
That's right.
Very, very little spring sports interest out there in the Delta. But, it's one thing that's is changing in time, but it's slow going.
Here's the 1-2, fouled out of play again to the right of us here in the ICC Alumni Association broadcast booth, and we'll do it again at 1-2. But Hayden Williams doing a nice job not only staying alive, but also adding some pitches to that pitch count for their starting pitcher, Williams.
Absolutely, and that's big, especially with a breaking ball pitcher. Eventually he's going to hang one up and, start seeing the Indians maybe start tee off on him.
The runner at second is Bowman. Here's a fly ball down the left field line. It's going to be dropping in foul territory, and we'll do it again. Left fielder gave a long running attempt. That's T.J. Knowles, but he couldn't quite catch up to it, and it falls foul. And we'll do it one more time at 1-2 the count with one out here in the bottom of the first inning. Coahoma leading 5-1. We talked about earlier in this frame about ICC baseball and the other 9 other intercollegiate athletic programs. You can follow ICC Athletics on Twitter at LetsGoICC and visit our award-winning athletic website. There's a liner foul down the left field line. And that site of our award-winning #1 named athletic Twitter account among the 15 community colleges, and also the #1 named athletic website among the state's community colleges. That's LetsGoICC.com. And the man to my right drives both of those buses on a daily basis. 1-2 the count. Williams gets the sign. And guess what? Another foul ball.
Foul ball to the left. I tell you, they may shade him to the left, and he can sneak something down the right field line here in a minute.
What an at-bat by Hayden Williams. Started the day hitting at .417. No home runs, 9 runs batted in. That RBI double his first time up in Game 1 gave him 10 ribbies on the year. Williams again checks Bowman at second. The 1-2 is laced foul down the third base line. We should have timed this at bat by Hayden Williams.
It's been a minute.
Or 2, or 3.
Maybe even
4 or 5.
9 or 10.
Yeah. Glad you're spending your afternoon into the early evening with us here on FM 95 Sports, on FM95radio.com, as well as our athletic website, the video streaming at LetsGoICC.com. Fastball high and upstairs, and the count is even at 2-2. And if you're Williams out there on the mound, you're just trying to figure out what in the world can I get past Hayden Williams.
Absolutely, because he's done an outstanding job, staying alive at this at bat. He's had 2 strikes for a while on him.
Yeah, and he's fought off all sorts of pitches. That curveball is low and outside, and now the count is full at 3-2.
He did a good job of holding off on that one that time, as that one just bottomed out as soon as he got to the plate. So now the count goes full. Man, if he can reach on this will be big.
Yes, 3-2 the count now to Hayden Williams, and the fake on the pickoff to second. Williams does not throw it. Diving back safely just to play it safe is Bowman. Williams 1 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI in game one, and he sends a fly ball to right center field. It is playable, and making the catch out in right center field is Colon, but that's deep enough to allow the runner to advance to third. So, yes, Hayden Williams was retired, but a productive out. He not only took a lot of pitches and on that pitch count for Williams, but he also was able to hit a fly ball deep enough so Bowman can score maybe a wild pitch, if you will, with 2 outs, or a base hit here by Cameron Coker. Bowman is at third with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Indians trail 5-1. Need a big 2-out hit here. Pitch is low. 1-0 the count.
Absolutely pay off all that hard work at that last at bat if you can drive in a run here.
Fastball upstairs, 2-0 the count. Temperature beginning to fall here at Roy Crescent Field. Just a little bit, says James Puckett, who's out there in the elements. He's our photographer for this. And there's a pitch that's
foul ball.
Oh, foul ball, okay. I thought there for a second Coker didn't get a piece of it. I thought it just went right off the catcher's mitt, and that would have scored a run, but it's a foul ball.
And Coker turned around immediately and questioned the umpire on that. Rick's going to come out and talk to the umpire as well.
See, that's the way I thought it was.
I think what they're trying to say is maybe even catcher interference.
So 2-1 the count. 2-2. 2-1. I beg your pardon. With 2 outs. That ball in the dirt. Nice job by Nikes to keep that ball in front of him, because that would have scored Bowman. Three and 1 the count to the right-handed hitting Cameron Coker, the sophomore from Germantown, Tennessee. Fastball high and inside, a nice at-bat by Cameron Coker, and now we've got runners at the corners with 2 outs, and Luke Gibbs, the shortstop, coming to the plate.
And if we talk about anybody's due, this kid right here is doing Luke Gibbs. As he talked about, he was the leadoff guy, sliding down the order a little bit here after he's cooled off a little bit. Coming in to run is going to be Anthony Mallard for the Indians, a courtesy runner for the catcher.
Yes, and Mallard's done very well pinch running again this year. 7 runs already scored this year. He has played some in the field. He's 1 for 4 at the plate, but he has scored 7 runs. Let's hope he makes that 8 on this trip to the base path. There's 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. First pitch to Gibbs, fastball way upstairs, 1-0 the count with Gable Butler on deck. Ethan Gill's solo home run earlier this inning cut the lead to 5-1. Then Bowman got a base hit, advanced to second on the wild pitch, advanced to third on the fly out to center by Hayden Williams, and now Coker has walked. That pitch is low, 2-0 the count. Gibbs hits from the left side. In game 1, Gibbs went 1 for 4, scored 2 runs. Fastball high, 3-0 the count. His 1 base hit was a gift as Rappa, a pop-up to the third baseman. He lost it in the sun, and it dropped right next to him. Luke also reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th, stole second, stole third, and came in to score on a Gill RBI single. 3-0, taken all the way, and there's a strike right down Main Street, and now it's 3-1. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, 5-1, Coahoma leading. Butler is on deck, Bryce Williams in the hole. There's a pop-up on the right side. Calling for it is Brown, and he'll make the catch. And that takes care of Gibbs and ICC in the first. But the Indians score a run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and 2 were left. We played an inning, and Coahoma leads it 5-1. Will Kohlmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. We go to the second inning. Coahoma leading 5-1. At bottom of the first. Lasted about 15, a little over 15 minutes. Nothing like what you did last week during the midweek. One of your innings down at Holmes, almost 50 minutes.
Yeah. We had a 8 pitching changes, 12 runs, and 48 minutes later, the inning was finally over.
Jeez. We don't need a replay of that one. Here's the first pitch to the leadoff hitter, Luis Colon. It'll be the 1, 2, and 3 hitters. There's a strike called. Colon had a base hit his first time up, stole second, came around to score. 5 of the first 6 batters got base hits off of starter Destin Hahn. That one's fouled. 1-2 the count to Colon with Brown on deck, Ross in the hole. That pitch is high. And 2-2 the count. 5-1, Coahoma leads game 2 after ICC won game 1 10-4. Here's the 2-2, swing and a miss. That's a good start, isn't it, Adam?
Absolutely, exactly what the Indians need right there. Quick out, get a strikeout, get a little bit of confidence rolling here, get the bats back up, and see if we can't get something rolling here.
That strikeout by Johnson, his first of the evening, brought to you by Pit Stop. There's a bunt and a beauty, and Gill makes the play at third. He charged it and threw it sidearm to Bowman. How about that for a web gem to get the Speedy Brown? And that defensive play brought to you by the National Guard.
Absolutely great play by Gill. And, you take a look at Gill. He's a big guy over there on third base, but he's got some wheels, and he's got such a strong arm. Because you see the way he threw that, he just basically threw it from his ankles. And a snap throw over real quick, got a really speedy runner out. So kudos to Gill on that play.
There's a curveball strike call to Ross. He had an RBI single to plate the first of 5 runs in the top of the first by Coahoma. Filed this one straight back. Ross in game 1 for Coahoma went 1 for 4 with a 2-run single. That was in that 2-run 7th to make it 10-4. That was the final score. Fastball high and outside. See, Ben Aldridge's dad just made it. Defense coordinator there at Tupelo High School, Lamar Aldridge. A lot of parents now getting off of work, and they're coming on over to cheer on the good guys. This one's fouled. 1-2 the count. Good fastball, pitch. Strike 3 call. And a pair of strikeouts for Johnson, brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue here in Fulton. But more importantly, a 3-up and 3-down inning, which means throw a donut up on that scoreboard for Coahoma. Brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. We go to the bottom of the second. ICC coming to the plate, trailing 5-1.
FM 95 sports coverage of ICC is sponsored by the McDonald's of Monroe, Itawamba, Chickasaw, Lee, and Pontotoc counties, the Baptist Student Union, Family Pharmacy of Fulton, Subway, JUCOweekly.org, and First National Bank in Pontotoc.
Will Kohlmeyer alongside Adam Gore, James Puckett, our photographer, for our video streaming at LetsGoICC.com. And, of course, Tina Harlow spending her afternoon, now evening, with us at FM 95 Studios in Amory as, once again, our studio engineer. And for ICC here in the bottom of the second, first pitch to Gable Butler is high, 1-0 the count. It's 5-1 Coahoma. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Butler, Bryce Williams, and Connard, for ICC. Fly ball, right field. Now in right center field. Making the call is Cologne, and he makes the catch to take care of ICC center fielder Gable Butler.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to play right now out there in right field with the sun setting directly into the eyes of the outfielders. So good job by the center fielder coming in and taking the angle away from the sun to be able to see the ball and make that play.
So here's Bryce Williams with one out, showing bunt, pulling the trigger back, and a strike is called. Bryce in game 1 went 0 for 2. He did walk and score in that 3-run 4th inning. Pitch is low. 1-1 the count with one out here in the bottom of the 2nd. Indians trail 5-1.
He's another guy that's due for a breakout game, so hopefully we can get his bat turning here in game 2.
Yeah, he lined sharply to Brown at second for his first at-bat. There's a strike called, 1-2 the count. And then he hit an absolute BB, but Rappa at third base stabbed it and then flipped over to second on a bang-bang double play. So, as you mentioned, Adam, he's been hitting it hard. Just hadn't had anything to show for it. And then he lifts this one to center field. Cologne went back 2 steps, came in 2 steps, and that takes care of Bryce Williams for the second out.
Yeah, and right now it's tough on the outfield because you see the shadow going across the way, and there's some breaks in that shadow in the trees, so kind of plays tricks on you a little bit. And you saw the center fielder dance around a little bit out there trying to find the ball and did, unfortunately, for the second out.
Here's Chris Connard, the right fielder. Chris hitting at .333 so far this year. He's 2 for 6 with 2 runs scored. Fastball is a ball with nobody on. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 2nd. Indians just need some base runners, and we've had our share of 2-out rallies through the years and some big-time rallies, and there's a strike call. Let's get something started here, Chris, because on deck we'll go to the top of the order and Drew Wheeler. ICC's only run here in game 2, that curveball inside. 2-1 the count, was a home run with 1 out. Last inning by Gill, his 2nd of the afternoon, his 4th of the season. Connard hits from the right side. That pitch is low. 3-1 the count. Former Water Valley star. Here's the 3-1. Swinging, fouled it toward the ICC dugout, and the count is full at 3-2 with 2 outs. Coahoma has 5 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. ICC 1, 2, and 0. There's a base hit up the middle by Chris Connard. And he's now 3 for 7 this year. So that average goes from .333 to .429 with 1 swing of the bat, Adam Gore.
Absolutely, and that's what we need. We just need guys on, and Connard's got some great speed on the bases. So hopefully we can see Drew maybe get something to the gap and possibly push across a speedy Connard if he don't try to take a bag or 2.
So here's Wheeler. Grounded out to the third baseman. Rappa, his first time up, after going 1 for 3 with a run scored in game 1. The pitcher Williams keeping an eye on Connard. Stepped off the rubber. This one's fouled back to the right of us here in the ICC Alumni Association broadcast booth. 0-1 the count to Wheeler. Gill on deck, Bowman in the hole. Let's get a merry-go-round started right here. In the bottom of the 2nd, Indians trail 5-1. And again, the pitcher Williams steps off the rubber. Ray Williams gets the start in game 2 for head coach Kenny Strong in Coahoma. And it's pitching coach Matt Killebrew. Pitch is low on a curveball, 1-1 the count.
Pitcher's pretty big. I mean, not the biggest Ray Williams I know.
No. Saw Ray in the cafeteria today. Good to see him. And Tyrone Fox, part of John Williams' staff. This is a pop-up right back to Ray Williams, and he makes the catch on Wheeler. And that takes care of ICC in the 2nd. No runs, a hit. There were no errors, and 1 was left. We go to the 3rd. Coahoma leads ICC 5-1. head to the top of the third. ICC trailing Coahoma 5-1. The Tigers facing right-hander Russ Johnson. It'll be the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters, Rappa, Oglesby, and McGregory. First pitch is a strike to Rappa. He hit a sacrifice fly brought to you by the Baptist Student Union his first time up. That scored the first of 5 runs in the first inning for Coahoma. Johnson quickly ahead, 0-2 the count. Line foul down the third base line. Count remains 0-2. I see a few members of the 19th ranked ICC Lady Indian softball team. Guess they're done with practice for the afternoon.
Yep, coming out to support the good guys here and hopefully can spark us a rally.
Here's the 0-2 from Johnson. Fastball low and outside. 1-2 the count to Rappa. In game 1, Matt had the hat trick. He was 0 for 3. All 3 were strikeouts by Nick Brooks. There's a foul ball. Count remains 1-2 as that one was slapped down the third base line. 5-5-0 for Coahoma. 1-3-0 for Itawamba. We're in the top of the third after ICC won game 1 10-4. Pitch is low. You hear a lot of chatter on that Coahoma dugout. Count is even at 2-2. Pitch is low. 3-2 the count. Some of the folks listening on FM 95 Sports, also watching on LetsGoICC.com, can probably hear it. Because there are no Coahoma fans here. That's all the dugout making that noise. And there's ball 4 to Rappa.
Well, there is one Coahoma fan here, and
there is one?
Yeah, he's been walking around behind the home plate dugout complaining every time it's not called a strike.
Oh, okay.
I heard him drop a word that he shouldn't say in public a little bit earlier.
Well, you're very observant.
Well, no, it came over the microphone.
Oh, okay. Fastball high. Yeah, that microphone gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oglesby. I might just go ahead and walk this guy. We haven't been able to get him out all day. He's got a home run, a double, and a single in game 1. This one's fouled out of play. And he got a base hit and scored his last time up. I mean, he's going to get on base. Let's at least not continue to add to his batting average.
Plunk him.
He's in a groove right now.
Snap him out of that zone, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, it's like wiffle ball for Jonathan Oglesby here today. There's a swing and a miss. Russ Johnson took a little something off of that one. Just a little wave by Oglesby. 1-2 the count. But Oglesby with a 1-2 count his first time up got a base hit. The 4th of 5 hits in that first inning by Coahoma when they plated 5. There's a swing and a miss. Changeup by Johnson, and Oglesby is finally out here this afternoon. And that strikeout by Russ is 3rd. And all those strikeouts brought to you by the Pit Stop here in Fulton. Doug Leslie, the owner. His sister Melissa runs the show there. That first pitch is low to Tay McGregory. He had an RBI single his first time up. Came around to score. He was the last batter that Destin Hahn, the starter for ICC, faced. There's a swing and a miss on a high fastball. 1-1 the count. With 1 out here in the top of the third, Coahoma leads 5-1. Johnson's pickoff back to first. Diving safely is Rappa.
Yeah, well, as you hear, there's an exciting Coahoma bunch over there just trying to keep it fired up here and see if they can't spark something going. But right now, Russ Johnson has kind of found his groove.
Yeah, it really has. There's a swing and a miss on another changeup. 1-2 the count. ICC is all about social media. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. I know you've got Vine and FanCred at ICC Athletics. That foul ball down the right field line. So stay up with ICC on all the different social media accounts. And, of course, Twitter campus-wide is at ItawambaCC for athletics. It's at LetsGoICC, and LetsGoICC, you really branded it nicely, Adam, on most of our social media accounts. Here's the 1-2 inside, 2-2 the count.
Yeah, pretty much get on anything social media and type Instagram and type in Let's Go ICC, and there we are. You can even get on YouTube, type in Let's Go ICC, and you'll find tons of videos there.
2-2 the count with 1 out to the left-handed hitting McGregory. There's a bouncer to second. Bryce Williams to Gibbs. The relay in time. A tailor-made 4-6-3 double play brought to you by Pisons here in Fulton. In the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and no one's left. So that means you can throw a donut up there on the scoreboard, brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. We go to the bottom of the third. Coahoma leads ICC 5-1. We head to the bottom of the third. Coahoma leading it 5-1 over ICC. The Indians will have the number 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Gill, Bowman, and Williams, facing right-hander Ray Williams. Alongside Adam Gore, I'm Will Kohlmeyer. This first pitch is high with the curveball, 1-0 the count. Gill has the only ribby in game 2 for ICC. A solo home run in the first. Another curveball is high, 2-0 the count, with Bowman on deck.
But you can't say they got broken.
That pitch in there finds the zone for a strike. As now 2-1 goes the count here on Gill. 5-1 is your score. We're in the bottom of the third inning here. Pitch coming. That pitch is high and outside for ball 3. 3-1 now. Goes the count on the sophomore third baseman.
So it's like, okay.
That pitch, like it hit him.
If you drive a
So he will trot down to first base. So there will be a runner on first with no outs here. We're in the bottom of the third inning. The Indians trail 5-1 here in game 2 to Coahoma.
Number LTI.
And this is going to be first baseman Andy Bowman stepping up to the plate.
I'm not going to like tell these people that.
Bowman got a base hit his first time up. Gill is the runner at first with nobody out. Curveball, strike called. Bowman in game 1 reached base 3 out of 4 times, just like Gill did. Williams, fastball, tailing out of the strike zone.
Out of bounds, still in a little bit of basketball mode.
Basketball. Oh, I should be doing better now. Did 30 or so basketball broadcasts, but this is our 6th game in less than 2 weeks here on ICC Baseball on FM 95 Sports. Pitch is high to Bowman.
Yeah, something about
5-1, Coahoma leads here in the bottom of the third. Bowman sends one to deep right field. Back to the wall, and she is gone. A 2-run homer by Andy Bowman. And Bowman has made this a 5-3 game as Bowman touches them all, Adam.
And he would do it when my camera decided not to work with me anymore. So I missed that home run. I apologize to Andy, but albeit a big one right there, because now it makes it a 5-3 game. We still got no outs here.
And here comes Coahoma pitching coach Matt Killebrew to talk with his pitcher Ray Williams. Let's take a 30-second timeout. It's 5-3. Indians have cut it to 2 here in the bottom of the third on FM 95 Sports.
Auto Air Electric is too close home. The Auto Electrical and Air Conditioning Service Center. We offer many services to keep your auto running efficiently. Computer programming, full automotive electric repair, nuts, heating and AC systems, power windows and seats, cruise control, door locks, and more. Right now, we're offering GM cluster repair equipment and businesses. United with our excellent staff of over 50 years of combined automotive experience. When you need service, give us a call at Auto Air Electric, 3042 Maddox, behind Carton, rented in Tupelo.
Matt Killebrew is back into the Coahoma dugout. He's staying with Ray Williams, and that first pitch is a strike called. 0-1 the count to Hayden Williams. That 2-run homer by Andy Bowman just moments ago has cut this to a 2-run game at 5-3. That pitch in the dirt. 1-1 the count. One and win the count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the third. Gill started this frame getting hit by a pitch, and then Bowman hits his second home run of the year. A 2-run shot to make it 5-3. 2-1 now the count. High with that curveball inside to Hayden Williams. Williams started his day off with an RBI double and came around to score, but since then has been retired 4 straight times, and that's very uncharacteristic. Hayden starting the day with a .417 batting average. 3-1 the count. That pitch was low, so 3-1 to Hayden. There's a fastball catching the corner at the knees, evidently, and it's now 3-2.
Yeah, I thought that one was a little low. You didn't see much of an argument out of Hayden that time.
There's a 3-2 pitch, slapped right through the legs of Rappa at third. He hit it hard, but it went right through the wickets of Rappa.
He's going to turn that into a double.
As he kept hustling, and he's going to slide in. He's going to be there at second. And how about that hustle by Hayden Williams?
And that's what we need to see out of the guys. We need to see them, not give up. Easily you see a team put up 5 spot on the top of the first. You can hang your head. But good job by Hayden Williams that time. He left no doubt. He saw it got through. So, he ducked his head and dug down and was able to leg that out to a double.
So you want to give him a double?
Yes.
Okay.
We're at home.
We're at home. That's right. I'm all for. I'd love to have you as a scorekeeper back in the day. That curveball is high to Cameron Coker. He walked his first time up. So let's keep this going here for the Indians here in the bottom of the third. We've cut it to 5-3. Williams, his second double of the afternoon. And those are his first 2 doubles of the year. Pitches out of the strike zone to Coker. 2-0 the count to Cameron. He walked his first time up.
Lights starting to come on here at Crescent Field. Shout out to Buddy Wayne, who is watching the game.
Yeah, he doesn't miss, I don't think, any of the broadcasts, especially if they're video streamed. It didn't matter what he was doing. That pitch is low. 3-0 the count. And of course, he listens as many as we can if we don't have video streaming. But thanks to you, we video stream the most of them. Taking all the way, strike right down Main Street. 3-1 the count. Luke Gibbs is on deck. Gable Butler in the hole. The Indians have cut it to 5-3 here in the third. Stepping off the rubber is Ray Williams.
Williams is not a fan of having anybody behind him. He pays a lot of attention to the runner at second, and that's when he tends to struggle a little bit and starts to lose control.
This one's fouled straight back. 3-2 the count.
I like he might have chased ball 4 that time and couldn't catch up with it. He likes the high heat, but just a little bit behind it.
We'll run down that defensive alignment brought to you by Coke after this pitch for Coahoma here in Game 2. 3-2 the count to Coker. Time is called. 3-2 the count. 5-5-0 for Coahoma. 3-5-0 for ICC. This one's bounced foul down the third baseline, and we'll do it again at 3-2.
Yeah, good job fighting that one off that time with Coker. It's a breaking ball. Broke a little bit more than he thought it would, so he just did a good job of finding a piece of it, fouling it off, and keeping the bat alive.
Williams gets the sign from Nikes. Ball 4 low. And we have runners at first and second with Luke Gibbs coming to the plate. Here's the defensive alignment in Game 2 for Coahoma in the outfield. It'll be Knowles, Colon, and Oglesby. And then around the infield from third to first, Rappa, O'Brien, Brown, and McGregory. Behind the plate is Nikes, and on the hill is Ray Williams. I see Mallard is out again. Anthony Mallard pinch running for the catcher Coker for the second time here today. And here's Luke Gibbs, the shortstop. Wonder if he'll be bunting here with nobody out. Yep, showing bunt and just barely getting out of the way on a fastball that ran right in on him.
Yeah, that one's a little too fast, a little too mid-level to take that one, I guess you can say. So a little self-preservation right there to get out of the way.
Gibbs popped up to the second baseman Brown to end the first. 1 for 4 in game 1 with 2 runs scored. There's a bunt and a beauty. Williams only has 1 play, and that's the first, and barely got Gibbs. Luke almost got himself a bunt single, but instead it is a sacrifice bunt. Brought to you by the Baptist Student Union.
I don't know if I don't try that bunt a little bit more against him, because you saw the way Williams has to throw that to first. It's kind of like that old Sony video game. It takes a little while for him to load it. He just gets it here and draws back real big, but when he lets it go now, it moves, but it takes him a minute to get in his throwing motion.
Yeah, he lumbers a bit, doesn't he? Here is Butler after that sacrifice bunt, brought to you by the Baptist Student Union. That pitch is low to Butler, 1-0 the count. The BSU would like to remind all of us of the ultimate sacrifice made on our behalf. They got runners at second and third to the Indians with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Here's Butler at the dish. He's 0 for 1 in this one. He flew out to center to start the second inning. In game 1, Butler went 2 for 2 with a sac fly. And 2-0 the count now to Gable. He did have a double and scored in game 1. He also had 2 stolen bases. Bryce Williams is on deck, and that pitch is low. 3-0 the count to Gable Butler. He'll most likely be in center field for 2 more games on Saturday. Tanner Poole, in case you're just joining us, our normal starting center fielder, out with an injury. Stress fracture. And there is ball 4 to Butler. And the bases are loaded now. They're full of Indians with only 1 out, and here's Bryce Williams.
And now with the play for your Indians, number 2, Bryce Williams.
Of course, we can't see if Coahoma has anybody going in the dugout, the bullpen. So, big opportunity here for the Indians. Bases loaded with 1 out, trailing by 2.
We are screened by the trees down the right field line, so we cannot see, as Adam mentioned, in the bullpen. Curveball is high to Bryce Williams, 1-0 the count. Kenny Strong in his 3rd year as the head coach at Coahoma.
Will the Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. Northeast goes on the road and sweeps Mississippi Delta today. I believe that final score I saw was...
As Bryce Williams just got hit by a pitch with the bases loaded, so that'll score another run.
That looks like that'll do it for Williams as well. But that Trustmark Bank scoreboard update in Game 2, Northeast wins 5-2 over number 10 Mississippi Delta to earn the sweep today on the road.
How about that? And that will be all for Ray Williams. We got another Predator Pest Control pitching change. The Indians have cut it to 1, 5-4 in the bottom of the 3rd. We're back in 60 seconds here on FM 95 Sports. Time for another Predator Pest Control pitching change. It's Ani Robertson out of Broadmoor, Louisiana, the new pitcher. He's a sidearm specialist, throws from the right side.
That's going to cause us a lot of problems because we've seen nothing but breaking ball pitchers today, Will, and now so you're used to seeing that, coming either over the. We've had 2 guys come over the top, one of them kind of just a little bit off the top. So now you're going to get used to seeing breaking balls coming down at you. Now you're going to have to pick up on that release about hip high, a pitch that can drift up and drift down on you. So we'll see how the ICC batters handle this here. And so this is a pretty smart move here by Coahoma to switch at that point in time.
Here's Connard. Chris, the right fielder, starting in Game 2 for ICC. The bases are juiced. They're full of Indians. The red and blue have cut it to 1 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Already scored 3 runs, just 1 out. The first pitch from Robertson, low and outside. He doesn't have a lot of heat behind that pitch, that sidearm. That's as hard as he's thrown, maybe 80. Pitch is a strike call, catching the corner. But as you mentioned, it's a tough, different angle for Chris Connard and the Indians. We've cut it to 3. We got the bases still loaded with only 1 out. That pitch is low and outside. 2-1 the count.
Yeah, a tough situation for this pitcher to come into as well. 1 out, bases loaded right now. So he's going to find the zone early, and he's got to be careful because when he does, he's going to end up having to hang something up there.
Chris got a base hit his first time up. And he lines one, caught by the first baseman, McGregory. The snap throw over to second, not in time, but a diving catch by McGregory takes care of Connard for the second out.
Yeah, we got lucky there. It's one of those where he couldn't find the runner, and then the runner actually getting back to second had slipped a little bit, tried to score on what he thought might have been a little flare to right, so he got back just in time. So luckily that wasn't an inning double play.
And here's Drew Wheeler. He's the 9th Indian to face Coahoma pitching here in the third. The bases are still loaded. It's 5-4 Coahoma.
I'll tell you what, you throw that pitch right there again to Drew, and he can send that one flying.
1-0 the count. That one missed the strike zone. Wheeler 0 for 2 in game 2. He sends a fly ball to deep left center field, but it's going to be playable. Colon, one step away from the wall. It nearly got out of here, but a long fly out to deep left center for Wheeler, and that does it for the Indians. But ICC sends 9 to the plate. We score 3 runs on 2 hits. The big blow, the 2-run homer by Andy Bowman. There were no errors, and we left the bases loaded. We played 3, and Coahoma now leads 5-4 over ICC. Crescent Field as we head to the top of the 4th. ICC has cut it to 1 now, 5-4. Russ Johnson back on the hill for Itawamba. He'll face the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, O'Brien, Nikes, and Knowles. First pitch is low and outside. 1-0 the count. O'Brien walked with the bases loaded. He was the first batter that Russ Johnson faced when he came in with the bases loaded, and only 1 out in the bottom of the first. There's a strike called. Nikes is on deck. Strike called again. And 1-2 the count to the shortstop, Corey O'Brien. Strike 3 called, and another strikeout for Russ Johnson. The 4th of the game for Russ. All brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue here in Fulton.
Yeah, and he's in his groove right now. You tell he looks really comfortable. He's getting his breaking ball working well in this cold weather, so hopefully he can keep rolling here.
Here's Nikes, the catcher. First pitch swinging up the middle, and it just gets past Gibbs. It looked like Gibbs was going to get there in time, made a nice jump on the ball, but that last hop was a crazy one.
Yeah, it took a bad hop on him and jammed him a little bit, and actually kind of had to go back on it before it actually hit him in the face that time. So, the ground helped out on that one. Trustmark Bank scoreboard update is a final. Hines has upset number 1 ranked Jones County 4-3 in game 1.
How about that? Jones County, of course, big week for them over the weekend. On Saturday night, won the men's basketball championship, the national championship out there in Hutchinson, Kansas. First time that we've ever had a men's basketball national champ here in the league. Pitch is a strike called. They'll try to steal second, and Coker throws out the runner, Nikes.
And I like what Nikes did. Nikes slid into it, hopped up, and started running back to the dugout before the umpire even caught it. He knew he was dead to rights. Beautiful, beautiful throw by Coker.
So that's 2 outs. And boy, I tell you what, the ICC catchers, Hayden Williams threw out a couple runners in game 1. Now Coker here in game 2. There's a pitch low to Knowles, the left fielder. He popped up to the first baseman Bowman to end that first, where it was a nightmare first inning as Coahoma struck for 5, but there's a foul ball down the third baseline. 0-2 the count with 2 outs to Knowles. ICC scored 1 in the bottom of the first on the solo homer by Gill, and then we added 3 more in the bottom of the third, a 2-run shot by Bowman, and then a bases loaded hit by pitch to Bryce Williams. There's a fly ball to deep left field. Drew Wheeler, long run, and this one is out of here. A home run as Wheeler crashed into the fence, and he might be hurt out there in left field. That solo home run by T.J. Knowles, the number 9 hitter for Coahoma, and the Tigers are up by 2.
I tell you, Drew covered a lot of ground in a hurry right there and really couldn't find the brakes in enough time to sort of check up. So he kind of Bo Jackson his way up the wall out there, and trainers looked at him. He gave him a thumbs up, so he's going to stay in there.
Yeah, I saw a couple of the trainers. There's a fly ball down the left field line, fouled by Cologne. Those trainers, of course, from the North Mississippi Medical Center Sports Medicine Program, the sole provider for ICC Athletics. 0-1 the count to Cologne. And thank goodness that Coker threw out that would-be base runner trying to steal second. Otherwise, it would be a 7-4 game. There's another foul ball. So 0-2 the count. With 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Coahoma has brought it back out to a 2-run advantage at 6-4. Cologne watches that pitch in the dirt. 1-2 the count. Louise got a base hit in the first to start the game off. Stole second. Came around to score on an RBI single by Hudson Ross. He struck out in the second. There's a fly ball into short center field. It will fall in front of Butler. No way Gable could have got to that one. It was just one of those flares that just finds the hole out there. And a 2-out single by Cologne, and that'll bring up Mario Brown, the second baseman.
Yeah, we're going to have a little action going in the bullpen right now. You're starting to see Coahoma being a lot more patient, sit back and wait for that breaking ball. I believe it's T.J. Watson and maybe Ben Aldridge going to start getting loose in the bullpen right now.
That fastball high and inside, and it gets past Coker, so a wild pitch sends Cologne down to second base. And that takes care of the force. There's 2 outs, so now they've got a runner in scoring position. And Russ Johnson, who has only given up 1 run, this is his 4th inning in relief. That run was by T.J. Knowles that hit the home run earlier this inning. Johnson checks the runner, pitches low. 2-0 the count. Russ making his 5th appearance of the year. He's 1-1 record-wise. Started the day with a 6.97 earned run average. But that has dipped since he's thrown these, for the most part, just giving up 1 run. There's a ball inside. 3-0 the count. In 3 2/3 innings, just giving up 1 run. But he needs to get Mario Brown here out. Don't want Coahoma to add another run. There's a strike called. 3-1 the count. Brown is 1 for 2 with a run scored here in game 2. After going 1 for 3 in game 1 with a walk, he did have a triple. And there is ball 4 high, and now runners at first and second with 2 outs. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Hudson Ross.
Now, batting number 44, Hudson Ross.
And yes, that does look like Aldridge throwing in the pen for ICC, the sophomore right-hander from Tupelo. Here comes Justin Bryant. He's going to talk it over and maybe give Aldridge some time to warm up. Let's take a 30-second timeout. We're in the top of the 4th, and Coahoma leads ICC 6-4. We've got a Predator Pest Control pitching change with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Coahoma leads ICC in game 2, 6-4. And it's right-hander Ben Aldridge, the sophomore from Tupelo High, 6'2", 225, replacing Russ Johnson. Hahn started. He went a third of an inning, gave up 5 runs on 5 hits. Johnson went 3 1/3, giving up just 1 run, although both the runners at first and second are his responsibility. And it's Ben Aldridge now, the right-hander. He has had his share of moments here, Adam, in his first 2 years here pitching for ICC.
Absolutely. He's one of those guys that he's just been consistent for us. His freshman year came in and ate up some innings and has done the same role this year for the Indians. So hopefully he can come in, get some outs, get us out of this inning, get us back to the Pats, see if we can't get back in this one, maybe take a lead and possibly get a chance to get Ben to pick up the win.
So another Predator Pest Control pitching change. Give Ted Weatherford, his son Clay Weatherford, the former ICC All-State center fielder, a call for all your insect needs. Aldridge making his team best 11th appearance of the year, 2-2 record with a save and a 5.33 earned run average. And with 2 outs, runners at first and second, he'll face Hudson Ross, the DH. Had an RBI single in the first, came around to score, was caught looking to end the second. This first pitch is a foul ball. 0-1 the count. Matt Rappa is on deck. Hopefully we'll see Rappa in the 5th. Aldridge has thrown 25 1/3 innings starting today, giving up 28 hits, 15 runs. They've all been earned. He has struck out 15, walked 11. Curveball inside. 1-1 the count. As I mentioned, Ben 2-2 on the year. Took the loss in game 1 of that doubleheader against Mississippi Delta on Saturday. That 6-5 loss in extra innings. Fastball just a bit high. 2-1 the count.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the division plays out, especially with today with Northeast going on the road to sweep Mississippi Delta. We got swept at Northeast, so that put them right back in the hunt. And then you're looking at Northwest right now getting back in the thick of things, winning game 1 against East Mississippi. They're trailing right now 2-1, I believe, in the 3rd in game 2. So, tell you, there's still a lot of baseball to be played this season.
And another Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. The count is now even at 2-2. Aldridge's pitch behind the batter, and a wild pitch by Ben sends runners to second and third with 2 outs.
Yeah, it's tough for Ben because he basically went to the bullpen, quick toss, short range, I guess you can say then, maybe 10 to 11 pitches to warm up with before they called him in. So he's going to have to get adjusted and acclimated to in-game action in a hurry here.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's a swing and a miss. Big strikeout by Ben Aldridge. And, oh, did we need that one. That strikeout brought to you by Pit Stop Barbecue. Don't forget, open every day for breakfast and lunch. They close at 3 right across the street from the ICC David C. Cole Student Services building. In the inning, Coahoma gets a run on 3 hits. There were no errors and 2 were left. We're going to the bottom of the 4th. ICC trails Coahoma 6-4. Ready for action here in the bottom of the 4th inning. ICC trails game 2 6-4 after winning game 1 10-4. Ethan Gill will start off the 4th inning, followed by Andy Bowman and Hayden Williams, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Curveball hit deep to left center, but it's going to be, stayed up in the air a little more than I thought, and coming in and making the catch was Knowles out in left. So the first time that Gill has been retired here in game 2 after hitting a home run to left center, and he was hit by a pitch and came in to score his last time up.
Yeah, and on that last pitch right there, Gill just didn't quite get all of it. He got the pitch he was looking for, just extended a little bit too much, just couldn't quite get all of his power into it.
And so here's Andy Bowman, who also has a home run today. His last time up, a 2-run shot. This one squirted right back to the pitcher, a little nubber, and Bowman is retired. So 2 quick outs here in the 4th for ICC. And with 2 outs, nobody on, here's Hayden Williams, the DH.
Well, got to get it started sometime, and what a better time with 2 outs. So hopefully Hayden, who's had a pretty good first game of the day, can get us something rolling here.
Had an RBI double his first time up, came around to score. Also had a double his last time up here in game 2. There's a strike called. 0-1 the count. ICC will host a reception and award ceremony for the participants in the Artistic Discovery Contest this Saturday from 2 to 3. That pitch is low. 1-1 the count. At the W.O. Benjamin Fine Arts Center lecture demonstration room on our Fulton campus, Congressman Alan Nunley will present the awards. The Artistic Discovery Contest is a high school arts competition sponsored by the United States House of Representatives. That pitch inside, 2-1 the count. The theme for the competition is Mississippi People, Places and Things. The public is invited to attend. That's this Saturday from 2 to 3 at our W.O. Benjamin Fine Arts Center. And there's a swing and a miss. 2-2 the count now with 2 outs. And that's what's coming up at ICC, brought to you by First National Bank in Pontotoc.
Yeah, the pitcher's doing a good job mixing up inside, outside pitches. So he's been all over the place and keeping the batters on their heels.
He throws from the side, and this one is fouled down the left field line, hooking out of play over the bullpen area. And we'll do it again at 2-2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Indians trail 6-4. Second game of the doubleheader. ICC won the first one 10-4. ICC is now 3-4 in North Division play. Coahoma is 0-for-7 right now, starting this game. Pitch is low, 3-2 the count. Delta loses 2 games, so they were 7-1, so they fall to 7-3. Northeast with those 2 wins now 6-2 in North Division play. Here's the 3-2. Ball 4. Good eye by Hayden Williams.
Yeah, that was an extremely tough pitch to take right there, and did a good job of holding off. And as we said, hopefully going to get ready to spark a 2-out rally here with Cameron Coker coming to the dish.
East Mississippi, you mentioned, lost game 1. That lopsided score to Northwest. That fell. The Lions fell to 5-2. That improved Northwest to 5-4. That game 2 is still going on. So as you said, it's going to be a wild and wacky North Division, it looks like, this year in baseball. Top 4, of course, advanced to the playoffs. That best of 3, that first round series, that pitch is low and outside. 1-0 the count to Coker.
Yeah, and that 4th spot is not the spot you want to be in, because that's going to odds on favorite beat Jones County, the number 1 ranked team in the nation right now, who lost earlier today 4-3 to Hines.
Yeah, that's just their 3rd loss this year. 24 wins for Jones County. Pitch is low and outside. Coker has walked twice so far today, and he's ahead of the count at 2-0 here with 2 outs. Luke Gibbs is on deck. Indians trail 6-4, bottom of the 4th. Swing and a miss, 2-1 the count.
Just couldn't catch up with the fastball that time. Saw it well, just pulled his head out of the swing. He was looking to see where it went before he actually made contact with it.
2-1 the count to Coker. Robertson checks the runner. That pitch just misses, maybe a little high at him.
Yeah, a little high and inside that time, like a breaking ball that just didn't quite want to make the turn and break.
3-1 the count, 2 outs, bottom of the 4th. Indians trail 6-4. The runner at first is Hayden Williams. This one's popped up, short right field, now drifting in foul territory.
There we go.
And McGregory slips. That's a break, and it falls foul. And let's see if we can take advantage of that miscue.
That's what you got to do in those situations. You're basically just getting another shot here. As you said, kind of getting chilly out there. The grass probably a little slick, as there's a little slight slopes on the side for drainage. And break there for the Indians, and we got to take advantage now.
So 3-2 the count with 2 outs. And the runner at first, Hayden Williams, should take off with the pitch. Robertson, there goes Williams. Here's the 3-2, low and outside, ball 4, and Cameron Coker with his 3rd walk of the game. You talk about some patience. How about Cameron Coker with 3 walks on the day? He started the day with a .375 on base percentage. That's way over 400 now.
Absolutely, and Anthony Mallard and to run again, enjoying the fact that he's getting on base, because Anthony's getting a chance to get out there and run around a little bit. But 2 outs right now, 6-4 is your score, and a guy, and I said it last time, I'm going to try to say it again, his kid's due in Luke Gibbs.
There's a foul on the first pitch. And 0-1 the count.
That was a Shrewsbury-like swing on that one. He was trying to park that one over towards the football field house.
How about Cody Shrewsbury reference there? Former ICC All-State and All-Region 23 outfielder from Tupelo.
It's a guy that never left any doubt on a swing.
No, he got his money's worth every single time. Gibbs, 1 for 4 in game 1 with 2 runs scored. He had a sacrifice bunt his last time up, brought to you by the Baptist Student Union. Popped up to the second baseman his first time up. That ball in the dirt gets away from the catcher, and both runners will move up. That's huge. Williams to third, and the pinch runner Mallard to second on the wild pitch. And now if Gibbs can come through with a 2-out base hit, we might be tied at 6.
Absolutely, and once again, great base running today by the Indians. Saw that ball was in the dirt, didn't hesitate, didn't look. They just both scampered their way.
Gibbs watches this one. A little high and inside. And it's 2-1 the count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. We've got 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and Gibbs at the dish. That ball in the dirt. Nice job by the catcher, Nikes, because I thought that had a shot for a wild pitch.
Yeah, we had a good jump on it as well, as both the runners were getting pretty healthy leads here with 2 outs. And really nobody keeping them on the bag, so it had a good chance if that one would have got away to possibly score a run.
Robertson gets the sign. Here's the pitch. Gibbs fouls it straight back, right over our heads in the ICC Alumni Association broadcast booth.
Well, you know, we talked about the struggles of Gibbs right now, and boy, it can be a big confidence boost, even if it just pushes across 1 run right here. Just something to be able to get a run across and help out the team.
3-2 the count with 2 outs. And Gibbs sends one deep to right field.
Go.
Get up, ball. Get up, ball, and get out of here. It's gone. Luke Gibbs with a 3-run smash to right center field. And the Indians are up 7-6. And how about Luke Gibbs? Look at that smile on his face. Yeah, he's pumped, and why not? That's his best swing in over a week. And the good guys are up by 1 now, 7-6.
Well, I tell you what, you can almost see when he rounded third, just the relief on his face whenever he saw that one get over the fence. So, man, good job there. Indians take a one-run lead. That's what we said. Get it started with 2 outs. We've done it so far. We've hung another 3 spot on the board, but we can always add a few more.
Yeah, that home run for Gibbs, his 2nd of the year, his 2nd as an Indian. He's now driven in 18. There's a swing and a miss by the number 7 hitter, Gable Butler, who is 0 for 1 with a walk here in game 2. And now Gibbs with 18 runs batted in. Gill, I think, has 19 to still hold him off by 1, because Gill has 6 ribbies on the day, including 5 in game 1. Here's the 1-1 to Butler. Bounced foul. That was a good at-bat by Luke Gibbs. Hanging in there, was patient. And on a 3-2 count, Sen went over the right field wall here at Crescent Field to give ICC a 7-6 lead. And that's with 2 outs. That one's in the dirt. 2-2 the count with 2 outs. And those, they're always sweet, but it just seems a little extra taste to it, doesn't it, with a 2-out, 3-run homer?
It really does. And you think about it. One, it gives a shot in the arm to the offense, but at the same time, it's really deflating for the defense. That, you know, they think, hey, we're just an out away from getting out of here. Then all of a sudden you look up, there's a guy on, another guy on, and bang, there's 3 runs come across. So, you know, hopefully we can get a quick 3-up, 3-down inning in the top half of the 5th and get these things keep rolling here.
Here's the 2-2 with 2 outs. There's a fly ball to right field. Coming on, still coming on, and making the long-running catch is Oglesby, and that takes care of ICC in the 4th, but not before the Indians strike for 3 on just 1 hit. That was the 3-run homer by Gibbs. There were no errors, and no one was left. We've played 4, and ICC has its first lead in Game 2, 7-6 after winning Game 1, 10-4. Will Kohlmeyer along with Adam Gore back here in Fulton as the Indians for the first time in Game 2 lead it 7-6 as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Aldridge back out on the hill for Itawamba. First pitch swinging, a two-hopper to Gibbs. At short, the throw to first is in time to get Matt Rappa for the first out. That was almost kind of a tough. That last bounce was an in-betweener, almost handcuffed Gibbs at short, but he hung in there.
Yeah, I'd say it kind of hopped up big on him, bigger than he's anticipated, but a good job of finding it, getting it, and getting the out.
And here's Oglesby, the right fielder. 1 for 2 in this game with a run scored on a wild pitch back in the first. He was 3 for 3 with a home run, a double, and a single in game 1. So he's 4 for 5 on the afternoon. This one's fouled off. 0-1 the count. Aldridge, curveball. Inside. 1-1 the count to Oglesby with McGregory on deck. Pitch is low. 2-1 the count to Oglesby. Aldridge came in with 2 outs in the top of the 4th with runners at 2nd and 3rd, and got a big strikeout to end the inning on Ross. And then he was able to get Rappa to ground out to short. And now the 2-1's fouled off. 2-2 the count to Oglesby. If you have a question or need more information about Itawamba Community College, please visit our new and improved website at iccms.edu. There's a swing and a miss, and Oglesby is struck out again. After getting a base hit in his first 4 at-bats, he struck out the last 2 times. Brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. That strikeout, the second in 3 batters for Aldridge. This one's popped up on the infield left side. Gill calling for it, just in foul territory, and that's a 3-up and 3 down. Top of the 5th for Coahoma. Throw another donut on the scoreboard for the Tigers, brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Indians lead the Tigers 7-6. Back here in Fulton, as we go to the bottom of the 5th, Bryce Williams will lead off for the Indians. Chris Connard will be second, and then the top of the order, and Drew Wheeler. Number 8, 9, and 1 hitters. I'm going to ask for a game analysis coming up. Adam, brought to you by Weatherall Printing, as the Indians lead game 2 7-6 after winning game 1 10-4. First pitch, a bunt by Bryce Williams. Nice job by the pitcher. And by the way, we got a new pitcher out there. So we got another Predator Pest Control pitching change for Coahoma. That's Tallis Ulmer is the new pitcher. Tallis Ulmer is pitching now for Coahoma. And he takes care of Bryce Williams for the first out. How about a game analysis? Adam, what have you seen in the first almost 5 innings of this game?
Well, I've been really proud of the way the team sort of didn't hang their head early. You know, we saw Coahoma hang a 5 spot on the board in the top of the first, got that solo home run there in the bottom half, and then we just kept chipping away. Russ Johnson came in, gave us some good innings. Now Ben Aldridge coming in, providing some solid innings as well. So hopefully we can come back and give our pitchers some more runs here in the bottom half of the 5th to be able to sort of get a little bit more breathing room.
Austin Welch in to pinch hit for Connard and grounds it to short. The throw is low, and it's going to be an error as the shortstop, O'Brien, bobbled it a bit and then picked it up, and by the time he threw it to McGregory, it was not in time to get Austin Welch. So the first error of the game for Coahoma. Each team had 1 error in the first game. And here's Drew Wheeler, the left fielder. 0 for 3 in this game for Drew, the sophomore from Moorville High School, after going 1 for 3 with a hit by pitch in game 1. Wheeler lifts a fly ball to left field, coming in a step and making the catch is Knowles out in left field for the second out. So now Wheeler 0 for 4 in this game, 1 for 7 in the doubleheader. Wheeler started the day. hitting at .337. And so with 2 outs, here's Ethan Gill. Gill went 2 for 3 with 5 runs batted in, including a grand slam in game 1. Curveball, low and inside, 1 on the count. Has homered in the first in this one, was hit by a pitch and scored in the third just in front of Andy Bowman's 2-run homer, and then he flew out to left field his last time up. Pitch is low and outside, snap throw down to first. Austin Welch is back standing up. So Gill has had 6 official at-bats today. Nope, check that, 5. Has scored 3 runs, has 3 hits, has driven in 6. 2 of those 3 hits have been home runs. Pitch is high, 3-0 the count. And Gill has reached base. He was 3 out of 4 in game 1 reaching base, and 2 out of 3 here in game 2. And there's ball 4, and Gill does what Gill does best, and that is getting on base. And he's now reached safely in 6 out of 8 plate appearances here in the doubleheader. That's impressive.
Yeah, sorry, Will. I'm having to take care of some apartment issues.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be
no problem
with you in a second.
Here's Bowman with runners at first and second. This one's fouled down the third base line. 0-1 the count to Andy Bowman. Andy got a base hit his first time up. Had a 2-run homer in the third and then bounced back to the pitcher in the fourth. Bowman in game 1 went 1 for 2 with a walk and a hit by pitch. That one in the dirt. 1-1 the count to Bowman. We've got runners at first and second. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. ICC leads 7-6. Pitch is low, and the runners are going to try to advance, and Welch is gunned down. And that ends the inning for ICC. In the frame, the Indians do not score. There were no hits. There was an error, and we left 1. We played 5. ICC leads Coahoma 7-6. We start the top of the 6th. ICC hanging on to a slim 7-6 lead. Ben Aldridge back out on the hill for Itawamba. First pitch, a strike called. Aldridge will face the number 7, 8, and 9 hitters. That's O'Brien, Nikes, and Knowles. There's a strike called. 0-2 the count. Popped him up into short left field. Wheeler coming in a couple steps, now a couple more, and he'll make the catch for the first out, and that retires Corey O'Brien, who's now 0 for 2 in this game. Did have a bases loaded walk back in that 5-run first. And with 1 out here in the top of the 6th, here's Hunter Nikes. The catcher reached on a fielder's choice in the first, got a base hit in the 4th. 1 for 2 officially. There's a foul ball out of play to the right of us here in the ICC Alumni Association broadcast booth. Don't forget to call Mark Todd in the morning. Connect with, or reconnect, if you will, with ICC by joining the Alumni Association. Mark's number is 862-8176. That pitch is low and outside. 1-2 the count to Nikes with Knowles on deck. Aldridge has faced 5 batters. This is his 6th batter, and there's a swing and a miss, and he's retired all 6.
Yeah, you can tell he's in kind of like Russ got there when he got in his groove. You know, he's sort of in his groove now, not wasting any time getting to the plate and throwing the pitch, and 2 quick outs here.
That strikeout for Aldridge, his 3rd. And brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. Open every weekday morning for breakfast and for lunch. They close each day at 3. Doug Leslie, the owner, his sister Melissa runs the show there at Pit Stop Barbecue. You name it, they've got it. Pitch is a little high. 1-1 the count to Knowles. TJ Knowles had a home run his last time up. The only run that Russ Johnson gave up in 3 1/3 innings. Fastball is high. And Johnson did a nice job in relief of Destin Hahn. There's a swing and a miss. And the count is even at 2-2 with 2 outs. Here in the top of the 6th, the ICC leading 7-6 after winning game 1 10-4. This one's fouled out of play. And we'll do it again at 2-2. On deck is the leadoff hitter, Luis Colon. Let's think that, and let's hope that we face Luis in the top of the 7th. Aldridge just 1 strike, 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. The hitter, Knowles, calls time. He's 1 for 2 in game 2 with that home run. Knowles in game 1 went 0 for 3, reached on a fielder's choice and scored. And there's strike 3 call, brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. And that's a 3-up and 3-down inning for Ben Aldridge. Throw another donut up on the scoreboard, brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop. We talk about all the donuts served daily and made daily, but also check out Alex Williamson's daily lunch specials. That's Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in Fulton. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The ICC leads Coahoma 7-6. Back here in Fulton as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Indians lead at 7-6 over Coahoma. Alongside Adam Gore, I'm Will Kohlmeyer. Tina Harlow, our studio engineer. James Puckett has been our photographer of our video streaming of this radio broadcast at LetsGoICC.com. Bowman, check swing, strike called. Andy in game 2, a possible candidate for our Sonic Star of the game. 2 for 3, had that 2-run homer back in the 3rd. He pops this one up, a major league pop-up on the infield. Behind the behind the mound, the shortstop, O'Brien called for it and then just dropped it. That thing was a mile in the air.
Yeah, I would say it went way up in the air, and he had to look back towards these lights towards first base, so you could tend to lose those. But the thing about it was, I was watching it, it went up, curled back towards the shortstop, and it was curling away from him, so he had to drift with it the whole time and just couldn't quite get the glove wrapped around it.
That's the second error of the game for Coahoma. As Bowman reaches base with nobody out, here's Hayden Williams, the DH. Hayden is 1 for 2 officially in game 2, doubled and scored in the 3rd, walked and scored in the 4th. And this bunt attempt, the throw is not in time, and it gets past the first baseman. And Rick Collier's going to hold the runner at 3rd. So a sacrifice bunt and then an error by the 3rd baseman. Right. So back-to-back errors. No at bat for Williams as it's a sacrifice brought to you by the Baptist Student Union, and then an error on the 3rd baseman allows the runner to go to 2nd. That's Williams, and the runner to get an extra base, Bowman, from 2nd to 3rd. So 2 errors in back-to-back plate appearances here in the bottom of the 6th for the Coahoma defense. And here is Cameron Coker. First pitch is low, 1-0 the count. All Cameron has done in game 2, not only catch a pretty good game, but also he's walked all 3 times.
You know, he'd like to make contact, and right now would be a really good time to find his first hit of the day.
He's had some big 2-run singles in our broadcasts. This is the 6th broadcast. And that pitch gets away from the catcher, Nikes, and scoring easily from 3rd is Bowman on a wild pitch. On that wild pitch, Hayden Williams takes 3rd, and it's 8-6 ICC, and I like what you're talking about. Get a little insurance there.
Yeah. And you saw that time immediately when the catcher picked up the ball, he had something to say to his pitcher, so maybe not on the same page on that pitch right there as he had to lunge wide to his right to try to get in front of it and block it up. And he's done a good job today, and fortunately for the good guys, didn't do a good job that time.
No, and that's 8-6. That's a big run, and we got another run that we need to tack on at least with Hayden Williams at 3rd base with nobody out. That pitch is high and inside. And how about Coker? He's walked 4 times in game 2. does wonders for an on-base percentage, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and Mallard, and once again, going to try to cross the field, and may not like it so much this time because he had to take the hoodie off as it's got a little cold.
Coker starting the day with a .375 on-base percentage. He started the day with 7 walks. He now has 11 on the year. And here's Luke Gibbs. Boy, that's a big play his last time up, that 3-run home run to put ICC up. There's a little flare into short left field, and nice catch by O'Brien as he collided with the third baseman. And they're going to call time.
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard. Looked like he may have took a hip or a knee to the head that time as they crashed into each other.
So Gibbs pops out to the shortstop, and then we're going to have some of our trainers out there along with the Coahoma coaches here in the bottom of the 6th. There is 1 out. We've got runners at first and third. The Indians lead at 8-6. Let's take a 30-second injury timeout. You're listening to ICC Baseball on FM 95 Sports. So Rappa will stay in the game here in the bottom of the 6th after that collision with the shortstop, O'Brien. That's the first out of the inning. And here is Gable Butler, 0 for 2 with a walk here in game 2. Has a couple flyouts. Showing bunt. Bunts it toward the first base. And that will be a successful safety squeeze there as the runner Hayden Williams scores. And a sacrifice, 1-3. So give Butler an RBI, and that sacrifice bunt brought to you by the Baptist Student Union. Chris Burrows and the BSU always like to remind us of the ultimate sacrifice made on our behalf. That pitch in the dirt to Bryce Williams. Wild pitch allows Mallard, the pinch runner, to go from second to third. ICC, that's another big run, Adam. It's now 9-6 in the bottom of the 6th, and we got a runner at third with 2 outs.
Yeah, all these runs are very crucial right now. As we said, Coahoma's cooled off after that first inning, but any extra run you can get is big time. And, man, what a save that time by the catcher from Coahoma.
He backhanded a fastball that just took off, and he short-hopped. It was a tough hop, and he was able to stab it, and that allowed Mallard to have to stay at third and not score on a wild pitch. Here's the 2-0 to Williams, a strike call to Bryce Williams. He had a bases-loaded hit by pitch back in the third, has a fly out and a ground out here in game 2. There's a liner down the right field line. That's going to be extra bases, and more importantly, it's going to give ICC a 10-6 lead, and Bryce Williams a big 2-out RBI double down the right field line, and the good guys are up by 4.
Big hit that time. Beautiful hit. Went with the pitch. Didn't try to fight it off. Didn't try to force anything, and put that one down the line. You saw Bryce, as soon as he made contact, he knew where he was going to end up, and that's going to be second base. Pushes the run across. 10-6 Indians here. 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th.
That's Bryce's second double of the year. These 2 RBIs in game 2 give him 9 runs batted in on the season.
We've got a illegal pitch or a balk. We'll put Bryce on third.
And so ICC now will have a runner at third with 2 outs. And this is Nick Brooks that's hitting here as Austin Welch pinch hit for Conard last time. And Brook flies out to right field, and that takes care of the inning for ICC. But the Indians score 3 big runs on just 1 hit. There were 2 errors, and we left the runner at third. We've played 6, and ICC leads game 2 10-6 after winning game 1 10-4 here on FM 95 Sports. Will Kohlmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. We head to the top of the 7th. ICC leads 10-6. First pitch by Aldridge, a bunt. Aldridge tries to make the play, and in time. How about Ben Aldridge as Luis Colon attempted the bunt single? That's about as good a play as you'll see all season long by the pitcher, Ben Aldridge.
Absolutely. He's got 4 strikeouts. You might as well call it 5, as that was a strike he threw to get that one out. And good play by Ben.
That's a defensive web gem brought to you by the National Guard. Always ready, always there, the National Guard. Ben Aldridge is always ready, isn't he? And he's always there.
Absolutely, and he might need to calm down a little bit as he's going to be a little hyped up after that big play.
There's a strike called, 1-1 the count to Mario Brown. Boy, that's a big play, too. That get that first guy out in the top of the 7th after ICC has rallied from a 5-0 deficit in this game to take a 10-6 lead here in the top of the 7th.
I'm loving how Ben's working. He's like, throw the ball, get it back to him, let's go.
He is feeling it right now. And there's a swing and a miss, strike 3 on Brown. Another strikeout. Aldridge with 5 Ks, all brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue here in Fulton, right here on Main Street, not too far away from where we're located here at Roy Cressup Field. 2 outs, top of the 7th, and here's Hudson Ross. First pitch is a strike called. Aldridge is in line to get the win, Adam.
Yes.
It'll be his 3rd win if he can hang on against 2 defeats. There's a swing and a miss. And more importantly, we did not have to throw Chambly or Watson.
Yeah, we got some of our key guys some key rest today.
This one's popped up, heading our way. And on the top of the ICC Alumni Association broadcast booth. 0-2 the count with 2 outs to Hudson Ross. Nobody on base for Coahoma here in the top of the 7th. Indians lead it 10-6 after winning game 1 10-4. Fastball low and outside, 1-2 the count.
Not a bad pitch that time. He got the batter before that swinging at some high junk for strike 3, see if he couldn't get another cheap strikeout.
This one's fouled straight back, and we'll do it again at 1-2 with 2 outs.
Well, if you keep an eye on the ICC dugout over here, they're all running out after each pitch, getting ready to charge Aldridge.
That one just misses. 2-2. This team, you can tell that they've got some team chemistry. They like each other, which is always good, especially when you're going through some tough times, some adversities. You know, you can lean on each other.
And, you know, and that's going to come through late in the season whenever you need those type of moments, whenever you can sort of rally behind each other and dig deep.
Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. And Ben Aldridge, that might be one of his best relief appearances in years. He did not give up a base runner in 3 1/3 innings. He struck out 6, all brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. And a 3 up and 3 down top of the 7th inning. And throw another donut up there on that scoreboard. Brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton.